So it is 7:03 p.m. I'll call the Town of Milton School Building Committee meeting to order. With us tonight, we'll do a roll call vote. So with us tonight is Scott Tereshek, present. Glenn Hoffman. Here. Dr. Celine Morena.
Here.
Sorry. Mark Loring.
Here.
And online we have Carrie Hurley.
Here.
We have a quorum. Let's see if anybody else is joining. Yeah. And then Sean O'Rourke here. Perfect. So second thing on our agenda is citizen speak. We reserve the first 15 minutes of the meeting for anybody that wishes to speak. We ask that you limit your commentary to 3 minutes, and please also state your name and address for the record. If you would, just please raise your hand, and then we'll open the mic for you. Pete Jackson, you're recognized, sir.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me turn the mic up a little bit on my end. Just give me 1 second, please. There we go.
How's that?
Good. That's good.
Okay. Okay. I recently have spent some time reviewing the appraisal that you folks commissioned for the swap, and along with the scope of work for the contract and the EOEA's standards for appraisals. And the appraisal, I don't know who on the town side reviewed the proposal, reviewed the appraisal to see that it was prepared correctly before it was submitted to the state. But there's absolutely no relationship between the document that the town submitted and the state standards for appraisals. So I think it's very important that somebody review that appraisal against the state standards. I've submitted comments to the state, and I think it's very important that that you guys properly prepare an appraisal for this project. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Keep it open in case anybody else has further comments. Not seen it. All right, we'll move on. Agenda item number 3 is approval of our past minutes from Monday, January 26th, not July yet, 2024. So everybody get a copy of those from Seamus? Yes. Any comments, edits?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the school building committee from February 26th.
I'll second it. No further discussion, I assume. All right, and because we're hybrid, we'll do a roll call vote. Scott Tereshek? Yes. Glenn Hoffman? Yes. Dr. Celine Miranda?
Abstain.
Mark Loring?
Yes.
Carrie Hurley?
Yes.
And Sean O'Rourke? Yes. All right. Item 4, old business. 4A is a discussion update of the land swap. So the last time we met, the special legislation of the home rule petition was in joint committee, which was a committee at the State House. There was a joint of House and the Senate for municipalities and regional government. Since our last meeting, that special legislation has been reported out of that committee with a favorable recommendation. There's been some updates on it too. I believe it's been read 2 times in the Senate right now, and about to be a 3rd, just based on what I was seeing on the website. So the good news is it's progressing. I know Senator Timothy left a step-by-step process to us, and I believe it was a 15-step process, and we're somewhere along steps 11 to 12, I think. I don't know exactly, but I can look that up if people are interested. But in short, it's moving, which is good news. Outside of that, for the land swap, I don't That's basically my update for it. So just open it up if anybody has any questions that may be able to answer something that might have left off. No comments, no questions. All good. So item 4B is discussion update MSBA statement of interest, and some part of that is a potential vote to approve this. So as most of you are aware, every year around this time, we develop our statement of interest that we submit to the Mass School Building Authority for entrance into their program. So it's a process by which we develop our statement of interest. We submit it in April. It's reviewed essentially over the summer. And then there's, as we found, processes that start around the fall where they'll ask questions initially, follow up with site visits, and then, typically around December, we find out if we're in or not. So this is kind of our first step going for that again. I know Mark's done a ton of work on the statement of interest. He's submitted it around. Mark, if you have any comments or anything, any updates on that?
Yeah, no, I can take a little of the credit. It was crafted mostly last year by Ada. I'm not sure if we did it before that, but essentially it's taking last year's draft and slightly editing it with a few updates of what's happened within the last school year, updated enrollments, data, things like that. But otherwise, the vast majority of the words are attributable to Ada. So thanks to her.
Keep an eye on Zoom in case someone had any questions. So, outside of that, just see if there's any other questions or comments regarding statement of interest. Good to me.
Yeah, not so much the statement itself, but wondering sort of the submission and what that means for us in terms of our process and where we are.
Yep. So it's still parallel paths, is essentially the way we've been going down this. My concern with MSBA is I don't want to pause anything, because if we don't get accepted, I just don't want a pause of 8 months, and then we find out we're back kind of where we are today. So we're progressing right now, with the intention of going without MSBA. But what I'd like to do is, the decision will be made probably in the fall. And we'll start getting feedback, like I was saying, along that timeline from MSBA, kind of where we're lining up.
Okay. It's important to just for, I guess, the public to keep in mind that we have two processes that we continue to.
Yeah, you might want to speak up a little. Sorry. Just
no, I just think that it's important for the public to know that we have two processes that we're pushing forward. So we're not waiting to hear whether we get MSBA or not, that we're still continuing to move the project forward.
Yep. Any other comments, questions? Motions?
Make a motion to approve the statement of interest for submittal to the MSBA.
Can I read the specific
language?
Very specific language.
So forward to Scott.
Just a friendly amendment.
That's
I guess it's a long, friendly amendment.
Yep.
Having convened in an open meeting on March 25th, prior to the SOI submission closing date, the Milton School Building Committee, in accordance with its charter, bylaws, and ordinances, voted to authorize, authorize or refer this to the select board to submit to the Massachusetts School Building Authority the statement of interest form to be submitted to the MSBA by no later than April 12th, 2024, for consideration in 2024 for the Cunningham Elementary School located at 44 Edge Hill Road, Milton, Massachusetts, which describes and explains the following deficiencies and the priority categories of which an application may be submitted to the Massachusetts School Building Authority in the future. Priority 2, elimination of existing severe overcrowding. And priority 4, prevention of severe overcrowding expected to result from increased enrollments. And hereby further specifically acknowledges that by submitting this statement of interest form, the Massachusetts School Building Authority in no way guarantees the acceptance or the approval of an application, the awarding of a grant, or any other funding commitment from the Massachusetts School Building Authority, or commits the town to filing an application for funding with the Massachusetts School Building Authority.
Can we second that without having to repeat?
Well, that's a friendly. So as long as he accepts it. Yeah. You accept it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. Perfect. You probably knew about that and just made it so he would have to.
Got it. I remember doing it in the past, but yes, we're not about it.
Yeah, I can forward it.
Yeah, we'll give you that.
Yeah.
So motion's been made. Is there a second? Right. Glenn? Perfect. Any further discussion? Harry, just in case, I see a head shaking, so that's no questions from her. Nothing in the room. All right.
Just to remind her the process, right? This will go to the select board. It also goes to the school committee. Both those have to vote to approve it before.
Yeah, correct. So I'll be at the select board tomorrow night presenting this. So assuming it passes tonight, we'll present that to them tomorrow, and then after that, we'll go to the school committee. And once we have all 3 votes of those, we'll get it submitted to the school board.
The school committee is meeting next Tuesday, the 2nd. So we expect to have it fully approved and kind of plenty of time to upload all the documents to their online portal for the vote.
Mark, just a note that the 2nd is turning out to be a conflict with another previously scheduled meeting. I think it's the select board. And so
we just handle that, Peter. Okay. I think it's going to be a Zoom meeting, remote meeting, so that we can still convene on the 2nd.
We're going to move some things around that were on the agenda for that meeting, given it's going to be remote.
Okay, great.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All right, we'll go to a roll call vote. Scott Dershak?
Yes.
Glenn Hoffman?
Yes.
Dr. Selena Miranda?
Yes.
Mark Loring?
Yes.
Carrie Hurley?
Yes.
And Sean O'Rourke, yes. That closes out item 4, old business. Item 5, new business, discussion update, education visioning update. So as many of you are aware, last time we were here, Arrow Street Architecture joined us. They talked about some of the visioning programs that they were doing or planning. There was discussion to line up the meetings with the district leadership team with Dr. Burrows. I know 1, 2, how many of those sessions have occurred?
We've met and we've had the kickoff meeting really, and we've been planning the date to have the first kind of building tour, and that's either the 2nd or the 3rd. So next Tuesday or next Wednesday, to kind of have the first in-person kind of review of the educational facilities. Mm-hmm. I don't know if, Peter, have you finalized the dates with, I think you and Charlene were going to send out invites. You were going to make sure which date worked best.
I believe Charlene's still working on that.
Okay. But it should be sometime next week that we really start kicking off the actual work product. And we've kind of, when we met last week, we kind of expanded the dates out for the next 3 or 4 weeks. So we kind of know the rough schedule for the next month or so. There'll be an envisioning event at least once a week for the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Yep. And then you guys are having meetings, PMA and Arrow Street on Mondays.
We have periodic check-ins to make sure that they have what they need to keep moving forward. Yep. Every Tuesdays at 1:30 to 2 o'clock. Yeah, it's every Tuesday at 2.
Okay. And then any of you are welcome to join. So if you're free at Tuesday at 2 o'clock, I'll have PMA forward those invites around. Just you want to attend, but you don't need to. Essentially, the consultants that we're working on that. So. Any other questions regarding that or comments?
They had given us a schedule originally with their visioning. Are we think we edited some of those dates probably by now. Just
Yes.
curious where that landed.
The packet that I sent around has the updated, updated schedule based on our discussion last week. Let's see if I can share my screen. And it shows, yeah, the April 2nd, 3rd, 4th, trying to marry those 2 days to be single day. And so next week will really be the first week that he's on site. And then it will go all the way out until the end of April.
And do you know what schools they're touring?
That's what,
The Shawnee?
yeah,
Okay.
they were going to work out. I think it's primarily Pierce, being kind of where 7th and 8th, I mean, 6th and 7th are right now.
Yep. Any other questions? How you doing? So item 5B is to review and approve project invoices for PMA. I believe I had sent around the January 2024 one before our last meeting. The problem was at our last meeting, the contract wasn't finalized. And then I have not sent around the February one. I haven't received yet.
I know those are both in the packet that I sent around on Friday.
Okay. Yeah, the packets I got was the agenda and then just the minutes.
Oh, is that true?
There's a link in there, I think, or is that?
Yeah,
No, it's from
yeah.
Friday.
So the
Apologies. Yep.
the visioning stuff was too big to send, but so I included everything else in the link.
Okay, sorry.
But I can start sending those by email.
No, it's totally fine. I just didn't see the link for that. Can we table the invoices till 2 weeks?
Yeah, no worries.
With those, I apologize.
No worries.
You want to go over the January invoice since we had that one?
Yeah,
Previously, maybe we can,
yeah, sure.
format it to chart.
So the January invoice, for those who haven't seen it, totaled of right around $5,000. It was $5,152, and you can see the breakdown in there that basically displays the rates and the hours, for everything. So, that one I'm comfortable, taking to a vote because I did see this one before. I just didn't see the February one.
The only thing I don't know,
Sure,
not having a copy of the contract to the rates line up.
okay.
That's the only
Yeah, I don't think
question I would have on it.
Yeah, I don't think there were any rates in the contract. So I know remember we talked about this during the selection to have them submit like a rate list. That was
Are there scheduled values that we can reference, or?
I don't think so. I think it was just the lump sum number that we had there, and then just basically tracking the invoices to make sure that's what it was at. I can double check that too.
Probably should be a rates list.
Yeah, usually they at least have like a,
Even though it might not be hours associated with it,
Yeah.
but it would be like the rates for each person.
So I'll check with Nick on that one, Nick Milano. So with that, you want to hold?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm fine with that. Yeah. Everybody else okay with that too?
Mm-hmm.
yeah. They're at least consistent between January and February.
Yeah, so you just double check too.
Hey, Sean, this is Sean Burke. We do have rates in our contract. If you look at the page, it's page 19 of 26.
Is that in the OneDrive, Sean, for us to quickly reference?
Yes, it is. It's in If you're on the OneDrive, Milton File Share, under Contracts, and it'll be in that first page, Milton PMA Consultants OPM Contract 11/16/23.
Can't get there. We need to get it on the local SharePoint dash Milton.
Okay.
It says the item might not exist or is no longer available.
Yeah.
So
let's just do what I would say to do is rather than hold up the meeting, dive into that, but just table it. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and we can just approve both of them at the same time at that point.
sounds good. Okay. James, can I ask you to just resend the link? To
we'll see
like
what
the home page to the OneDrive.
Sometimes the link auto expires. We can set a date to wave on.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions on invoices or anything like that? So kind of on a rolling like now, we'll have invoices coming from PMA, invoices coming from Arrow Street and stuff like that. So we'll close that, close item 5, move on to item 6, future meeting dates. So I know there was some discussion last time about trying to find meeting dates are off Mondays to kind of align with the architects and stuff like that. So I had met with the architects earlier this week to talk about, there was a couple small things to talk to them about. So we discussed meetings, and they have, their Mondays don't work because they have a meeting one Monday a month. So what I told them is, I said, let's just hold with we've been on Mondays for 5 years, so let's just hold with our Mondays. Outside of the times they mess up the scheduling and then we have to go a different day. But for the majority of the time, we've been on Mondays for the most part. So what I asked them to do is just keep it on Mondays. And then at some time, if there is a conflict between them, let us know. And then we'll see if we can adjust. If not, we can just move on without them. Catch up at the next week, if that's acceptable for everybody. So that would
our plan is still do every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, I just figure stay on the schedule, even if it's a brief meeting like tonight. It just kind of keeps us going. And if something comes up, we all know that we're penciled in for this. So.
It's very helpful.
Fine.
So the next meeting would be April 8th.
Yep.
I will not be, just so you know. I'll be traveling.
That's fine. Anywhere nice?
DC.
Okay.
I'll be there for a conference.
Very nice. All right. So yeah, so essentially, that'll be our kind of rhythm going forward. Every 2 weeks on Monday night. Any questions or comments or anything else? Hearing none. All right. So our last thing is item 7, which is adjournment. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. And so no discussion?
Second. Oh.
No. Oh, good.
All right.
No, good. All right.
Like the shortest meeting ever.
Doing our best.
Right?
Yeah. So roll call vote. Scott Jurashek?
Yes.
Glenn Hoffman?
Yes.
Dr. Miranda?
Yes.
Mark Loring?
yes.
Carrie Hurley?
Yes.
And Shauna Ward, yes. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
That may be the shortest meeting I've ever been in.
Congratulations.
All right.
I'm not complaining.
That's fine.
Great.
Understood. Have a good night, everyone.